Hey, this is Parker Madness Podcast. I'm Matt. That's Ben.
Sorry, I was pulling my mic over.
There he is.
Every week I forget.
And we're going to go back to Aaron with the lightning bolt.
Oh, okay. No,
lightning
I'm too good.
bolt.
I'm too
Lightning
good.
bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
Thanks, Ben.
So we've got a kind of a new episode this week because we started our Patreon, and this is the very first week.
We're making bank.
Immediately coming to fruition for some of our patrons because this is our new monthly thing for our mid-tier patrons that they get a chance to vote on what we're going to do. And who are the losers? The losers in this
The
week?
losers were Amadeus,
I know. Yeah,
Amadeus.
the Lone Ranger, which you posted a picture of the old Lone Ranger.
sure
I was
did.
talking the Gore Verbinski.
I saw that twice
I
in
put the old
theaters.
ones.
I think it's okay.
It's okay.
Okay. Well, it's gone forever now.
Well, we're gonna do it later.
And then Disney Bart Marvel right after that.
And the rest
And then
is history.
Event Horizon was the last one,
Yeah.
right? That didn't make it. So this week we're doing The Wrestler. 'Cause
Better
that's
Call
who,
Saul.
Better Call Saul.
No. Yes, we're going to
The
do
Wrestler Part 2.
Better Call Saul Season 1.
Mickey Rourke
Episode
as
1.
Mickey Rourke.
No, we're doing The Wrestler, which is fortuitous because we were thinking about doing this
I had
a month
suggested
ago.
it long ago.
And then Ben watched it thinking we were going to do it, and then we pulled the rug out from under him.
And did the Dick Van Dyke Show.
And we
I did not know what was going on.
Sorry, Ben.
And then I tripped over an ottoman.
We do comedy here.
Yeah.
Nobody gets that.
I get it.
Give me a Sprite.
I don't have any Sprite. I'm sorry.
Oh.
So, The Wrestler. Before we get into it, Aaron, why did you want us to see this movie?
Why, Aaron?
Well, it happens to be one of my very favorite movies. And before Ben even got here, I was explaining to you, in the past 2 months, aside from watching for this podcast, I watched this movie 2 times. Just on a whim, because I wanted to, because it's good.
It's a lot of wrestling.
Because it's so good.
Because
they have a Nintendo in it.
Wasn't there like an actual
not a good- that's not
relatively
very
big pro wrestling event that just happened too?
I wouldn't know.
I think there was. Like SmackDown or something.
Of all of us, I think Ben is the most wrestling-oriented.
Yes, I am.
Did
but
you-
I haven't kept up with it lately.
Did you guys grow up with wrestling?
I did.
You did?
I did. a
I
lot.
mean,
You're like,
I did.
You see,
I did. And
my
like,
best friend when I was when I was single-digit age was way into wrestling, so I was sort of in it because he was in it. So I would be like, "Yeah, this is cool. I'll do this thing with you."
So I knew of people, and I knew there. Like when we were growing up, the wrestling video games were actually pretty big. I remember.
were.
Well, when
But
I was growing up,
I never watched it. We never watched it in my family, so it was just totally oblivious.
You don't know about the
WWF versus
I-
WCW.
I know of those acronyms. But
I liked
didn't-
Sting. Was
I
he WCW?
He was WCW.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
He always
who that
came in
is.
from the rafters and all that. That was cool.
And Goldberg, he was undefeated for a long time.
Goldberg.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's Mighty Ducks.
Yeah. Goldberg was undefeated, but he lost because of a bad Razor Ramon, who's then called Steve Nash. I think.
He lost because of a bad hot dog on set.
Yeah. He
We got to do Mighty
got
Ducks
hit with a
sometime.
knuckle
We
puck.
should. Yeah, we really should. Do you guys want to just do that? Yeah. All right.
All right. So
but-
go on, Matt, because you're going to keep boring the audience.
Oh,
This is getting us in the mood to talk.
I wanna
about
wrestle!
movie. All right.
I want to play Nintendo.
What's the line? I don't give a shit. I just want to wrestle. That's from this movie. Okay.
That's the tagline.
Who wants? Let's give the overview of the movie. as
Maybe
well.
we can do it in multiple parts because I bet we have different takes on this.
Okay.
Because to me, the main thing is the guy who's doing all the things he don't want to do so he can do the thing he wants to do. And that was the important part.
Oh, yeah. Step into a Slim Jim.
Yeah, so this is the aging
Bone saw.
the aging star who has to do a really bad day job to make the money so he can keep doing what he wants to do. And it's pathetic and sad.
Yeah.
But he keeps pushing forward.
That's right.
Isn't this based on The Ultimate Warrior? His life.
I think I've heard that.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's so many like it's a movie that feels incredibly authentic and real. That wouldn't surprise me.
Which is weird for Darren Aronofsky.
Which we should just highlight that right now that we're doing a Darren Aronofsky movie and not immediately crapping all over it. Given our Mother review last year,
Oh man, brutal.
this is not that. I don't. I would.
I thought it was about the environment.
Well, In a way, it could be.
Yeah.
So
His
what
nickname is the Ram.
the Ram?
They're going extinct.
What was interesting? There was who's come to the public limelight, and he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. Was Jake the Snake? And he talked about his it was a really good podcast. He talked about his whole life, and I guess Diamond Dallas Page. None of you guys know who this is.
DDT.
TDP.
Whatever. Sorry, I just made your point.
He did the
That's
diamond
the
cutter.
environment, right?
His move was the
Isn't that
diamond cutter.
pesticide?
Yeah. Nerds. This is wrestling. He has this whole program where he helps and other people with different to get them back on their feet. And he took in Jake the Snake, and he told all these stories, and it's very similar.
Oh.
Very similar to the wrestler.
Okay.
The movie feels very
That's why I
authentic.
enjoyed it, because wow, after watching that and watching this, it was like, wow, it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's brutal, man. It's a brutal sport. I mean, not just like how
It may be fake, but they go to great lengths to do that fakeness.
and like how they live in squalor too, especially starting out, and then they get fame, and then they live in squalor because it's all they know how they do, you know.
So let's go ahead and spoilers now.
I should make a thing for that.
Spoilers. What I love, the movie literally starts with what you're talking about, which is the opening scene to the movie is kind of the perfect setup to get you into what Aaron was describing as like the overarching theme of I'm washed up but don't want to be. I want to be able to do that thing I was so beloved for, loved doing. And he's wandering around like this high school gymnasium in this he's like in a kid's school classroom, like taping himself up, and he gets handed like a couple bills, and it's like, great job today. And it's like you start with how far he's fallen, which to your point, Ben, is like what the reality is for people just starting out. But this guy has, like, later in the movie, he plays himself in a video game, which is one of those kind of like on the nose things. But in this movie, it comes across as like, oh, that's
It very much works.
That's just
Well,
just so.
I had a
emotional.
little nostalgia in that sequence when he played the video game, because you guys talk about the wrestling games you grew up on, which I grew up on those later on. But that NES one that he played was similar to the one I played.
Oh,
as
same
a kid,
here,
yeah.
When you could be Andre the Giant and stuff.
You forget that I was in that era as well.
Well, I don't think you really were.
But I still played the games, didn't I? I mean,
know.
you're only like 3 and something years older than me. Get
How
over
old are you?
yourself. I am 31.
I'll be 35 in July.
You win.
I'm going to die first.
Get over yourself.
Well, the other part of that, the video game scene, which I liked so much too, was the little kid is also talking to him.
You have Call of Duty?
Yeah, about this modern game and like how who cares about this? Just
Dumb kid.
yeah, it's really the whole movie. I feel like was just extremely well written,
yeah.
extremely well. Like they didn't overdo the dialogue or anything. It just felt very compact and really tight.
Yeah.
Nothing was wasted.
Right.
It's interesting because like the whole theme of it was he's from a bygone era. He just doesn't
He's a relic.
belong there anymore.
I don't know about that. I don't know if he doesn't belong. Everybody loves him and wants to see him. He's just old and like I feel like
It's that nobody
All right.
cares enough.
Hey, cut to me.
God. Oh, well, yeah.
Goodbye.
The diva has spoken.
I'm just kidding.
Okay. It's not that ever.
I didn't think he.
people
I don't think,
appreciate him.
Yeah, I think he just is broken. Like
People just don't care enough. It sort of speaks to how society is now, where people will pretend to care about stuff, but they don't really.
No.
Everybody's phoning it in for him.
the line. I feel like I'm an old, broken down piece of meat, and I'm alone, and I deserve to be alone, and just don't. And this is the scene where he's talking to Dolores from
Also, I'm
Westworld,
good at Nintendo.
his daughter. Yeah, when he's like, which was another element of this is that in his after he's kind of realizing he's not sort of washed up, but he wants to. He's struggling to make ends meet. He has nothing left, and they can't. He had a heart attack, for crying out loud, and he can't wrestle. He's been told he can't wrestle anymore. He tries to reconnect with his daughter.
Took that heart attack like a champ.
Yeah, and so that scene where they go out together by the docks and stuff, or on the boardwalk, was really good too.
You mean he and his daughter?
He and his daughter? Yes. After he retires from wrestling,
His estranged daughter. of
estranged,
course.
yes, who he's completely which is the definition of estranged. But the lengths they go, which I think from her perspective was really, I thought she did a great job as an actress.
Yep.
I don't like her that much in Westworld, but
so she's been in other things.
She was great in this.
Who's she in Westworld?
Dolores.
This is the only thing I've
That's
seen
Dolores?
her in.
The daughter's Dolores, right?
I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Air horns for Dolores.
Excuse me.
Well, what else stands out to you guys?
I don't know what it is about this movie. I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it because it was one of those where everything works in such a way that I don't have to think about it. Do you get what I mean?
It's kind of
there?
like viscerally, like just
Yeah, it just comes off as genuine, and you're taken to a world, and nothing needs to be questioned.
It feels very behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's the way it's shot, too.
The way they shoot it is very like personal and like voyeuristic. Like it's almost.
I didn't notice till much
handheld.
later, but a lot of it's handheld, and there's so many behind-the-shoulder tracking shots.
Yeah, yeah.
And he loves that contrast. It's high contrast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's not soft at all. Maybe the choice was to make it so it looks a little more grungy.
It has that
it was
like
low
grainy.
budget.
It has that like grainy feel to the picture quality that it almost has like a home movie.
It's a little blown out.
It has that
A little
bit
blown
of that.
out,
A
yeah.
little oversaturated.
Yeah.
In places, I mean, there's parts of it where it's kind of dull, but that's
The other part of it is that there aren't these like
My daughter? Dull?
aside from the like monologue at the very end that he gives to the fans, which is a very pro wrestling thing. There aren't these like long, overly written scenes where
all
it
the
feels
dialogue
like it's a
is-
written movie.
yeah.
It almost feels documentarian, and that also comes through in just the like inside baseball wrestling things that you get. Like of the guys talking to each other about their strategy for what they're gonna do, or the doctor coming in and or the guy giving him the drugs in the locker room. Like all of it feels very
I just want to get big
personal.
and strong.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the wrestling guys' brotherhood where they're enemies on stage, but in the back room they're all hugging on each other and giving each other tips. That was fun.
So why don't we do the neck thing? Oh, you're doing the neck thing? Oh, okay.
We'll do something
what
else.
about the leg? Oh, okay. We'll do the leg thing.
We're gonna sweep the leg.
Yeah.
They were all of them very genuine, nice guys in this movie.
Yeah.
Loved them.
And they also did a great job with Mickey Rourke, who just in the movie itself was great, but like all the little things he has to do to just upkeep himself. Like he's got the pain meds, he's got we see him doing his hair,
Bleaching
dyeing
his hair.
Yeah, a lot.
Lifting weights.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And he actually cut himself. That was...
Yeah. Yeah, he went to great lengths, man.
Do you want to talk about probably, I feel like one of the most, wow, that smacked me over the face was the back and forth with the like brutal wrestling guy.
Yeah, that's the scene that's interesting
the staple
because
gun.
it's presented in a very Tarantino fashion where you see the before and after only pretty much, and then you get sort of flashbacks later.
Yeah.
Thought that was pretty well presented.
That was brutal.
There was a wrestler named Mick Foley that was his shtick on WWF or WWE now. And I think
Was what?
that kind of style of wrestling.
Lots of props, lots of
Props, getting hit
mayhem,
with staples and tacks and all kinds of stuff.
whoopee
Glass.
cushions.
Do you think those were real?
I think they were.
Hit in for him?
I think Mickey
you think
works.
at
I think
that
Mickey
level?
works that kind of actor.
He's crazy enough to do it.
Yeah.
No, I mean in the movie. And
No. In
even,
wrestling, yeah, those are real.
Yeah, I mean, you can take
Everything
a
was real.
staple and
No,
not
that-
be
there's a whole book
technically
about-
hurt.
Okay.
Mick Foley that was his shtick.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, that was how he got there.
Yep, it's pretty brutal. They really want to
I
sell
think
it to you.
he was called Mankind.
Was he the big old fat guy
He was a fat guy
with a mask?
maybe a mask, but he later took the mask off, and he had Mr. Sacco.
But do you think if he took that mask off, he would die?
For you,
I'm gonna look up a picture of Mankind.
Mankind. I don't know if he's still alive or not.
I I also laughed at like right before that they went to the dollar store.
Mick Foley.
We're picking out all those props.
Yeah, you're right.
No, keep going, man.
Yeah. Hey, there were props. They're done.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is, at McFoley.
Weirdo. Looks like he just got off of work.
There's a normal picture of him too.
It's true. You're right. You're right.
But this is what he really looks like.
Uh-huh. You know you're a redneck when you wrestle.
Wrestle a snake.
You guys want to wrestle? What'd you guys think of Marissa Tomei in the movie?
Always good.
You guys have to see My Cousin Vinny.
I gave him the DVD of that just before you got here.
You did?
Here, right here. He handed it
Yeah.
to me. Yeah.
You don't mean to tell me the two Utes.
Hey, it's my cousin,
Hey,
Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio.
Well, why was she good in this movie, Aaron?
Well, I always like her acting. I don't know why people don't like her acting.
It depends on what she's in and who directs her.
Well, I think that's a fair assessment. It kind of depends on the director. I thought she was meh in Spider-Man recently.
Yeah.
They didn't have much to do with her,
No.
of course. But
That's the Marvel Universe.
yeah, it's always pretty meh.
Meh.
I can't think of anything where I actively disliked her. Is my line of thinking. What would you say, Matt?
In this, I actually feel like the most unrealistic thing about this movie is how many of the strip club patrons reject Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, it's a little unrealistic.
That was probably like
I cannot say I would have done the
okay,
same thing.
all right then. I think because they thought she was too old or whatever.
Yeah, that was kind of a stretch.
But I understand why they did it because
Well,
it's like a parallel
you're right.
sense of being washed up.
You're right, but
She is
it would
his
have been
counterpart.
better if Glenn Close was the Marissa Tomei part, because that handsome woman would be rejected quite a bit.
She is handsome, isn't she?
So handsome. The boo box.
It's one of your favorite jokes on here.
Nobody gets that. Nobody gets that.
I get it.
She was a pirate in Hook.
The one with the beard that gets put in the boo box.
Yep.
That's Glenn Close.
Glenn Close. No. No. Yes.
Now I have to look that up. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, Glenn Close is a pirate.
Matt, you keep going.
Here we
Okay,
go.
I think I do think she had one of my other favorite scenes. There were a couple, but one of my others was when.
All right, Matt, shut up. There she
Look,
is.
Glenn Close.
There's Glenn Close.
Look at her. It's so apparent now.
You know, I wouldn't say no to that.
Well, I'm going to let you have that one.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you do you, Ben.
yeah. It's important.
15 Dalmatian puppies.
Okay. Moving on.
No, she had one of the. She felt very prop-like for this movie, as she's just the foil that.
Oh, I don't know.
Not prop-like, but he kept.
Well, she represents Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
He
Yeah.
kept trying to latch onto her to better himself, but for her, rightfully, she kept being like, "No, I don't want to be dragged down to him."
She was very
They were
guarded.
kind of back and forth. That led to one of my favorite scenes, which was when she just rejects him outright at the club, and then he's like, "All right, well, here, I want to dance," and tries to pay her for it, and that's when he ends up getting kicked out. But just that scene was like a cut the cord, like this is over, which I thought was really good. And she did a great job.
Yeah, no.
in there.
It reminded me of the episode in Saved by the Bell.
Oh, of course. I
When
know the one.
Jesse Spano was taking pills, like sleeping pills, and it was just so intense. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. And she comes to grips to reality.
No,
It was exactly like that in The
Exactly.
Wrestler too.
as for her
Flat
character,
lighting.
for someone watching this movie, it's easy to get mad at her character, but if you think about it, she's very justified in her actions.
every single thing, yeah, no doubt.
She's very protective of her situation that's working for her, more or less, and she doesn't want to introduce something that could ruin it.
And who in their right mind wants to live in Philadelphia?
Not this guy.
Not me.
Maybe Rocky.
Maybe.
And what was great about this too is there's kind of these like simultaneous threads of him and just wrestling in general, and him when he goes to the deli counter. Another great explosion scene
So
was,
good.
was that when he slices
Even
his
when
hand and-
even without the explosion, just the way he interacts with the customers is so
Yeah.
fun because it's a little awkward, but you can tell they're kind of liking it.
Oh, the first time for sure.
Yeah.
The first time is very Mickey Rourke. Hey, doll, what do you want? He's trying to make the best of the situation.
And he's doing a good job of it.
He was being up.
He's got a good attitude. He's putting on a brave face. He's doing what he's got to do.
And I thought it was also like
Gobbledygook.
a very good symbolic kind of scene because he had to wear the name tag that was his real name.
Can you change it?
And it was like his first time where he was almost exposed and had to be his, like, not play his character anymore.
Right.
Not, and then everything reverts entirely back, which leads to the end of the movie where he basically, like, I don't care what anybody says. I only care what you think. And it's like this really, and then he chooses to ignore the guy telling him just pin me, man, just pin me, and he decides to, like, just for the show, he's gonna risk his heart or
Go out
getting
with
a
a
heart
smile,
attack.
man.
Yeah.
And in that blow up scene, he does a wrestling thing where he purposefully injures himself and then smears the blood all over his face, and he's running around knocking stuff over. He goes out his way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
This movie's so good.
It's so good.
Ben, what else?
When I was a kid, we watched a lot of wrestling.
Okay.
Deep thoughts.
Yeah, deep thoughts. We
I
watched a lot
thought
of
it
wrestling.
was a good movie.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Did he die?
That's a question.
Yeah, so that's
worth
another great
questioning.
thing is they ended on an ambiguous ending.
Did Tony die at the end of The Sopranos? Yes. No.
Was he in a dream? Was the top spitting?
Oh man,
Did
you're
it
making
wobble? Did
another
it wobble?
mediocre director reference.
Do weevils wobble and fall down?
Can we talk about Aronofsky and how he hit this out of the park?
Yes.
I
Where would you like to
do
start?
not like Darren Aronofsky, but he obviously did a good job on this movie, and I have to give him his props.
It almost feels like I know. So
He didn't write it.
Black Swan he didn't write it.
No, and I
Okay.
think that's the reason it's good.
Okay.
I think it was I think what happened wasn't like someone involved with the fighter,
Maybe.
and then they got kicked out of the fighter, and then they wrote the wrestler and made the wrestler.
Okay.
That's why they
They
similar
were like
movies.
right around the same time, right?
Possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will look that up.
I think Aronofsky's very much got a Tim Burton thing going on, where it's way better when he doesn't get to control everything. I feel
When
that
he gets
very
like
strongly.
one piece of
When
the
you get
puzzle.
one job and you have to hit that
Yeah.
out of the park.
I
He
mean,
did that.
whoever wrote this had just like an incredible
sense of humanity.
well, sense of humanity, but also like just knowledge of the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like even all the way down. Here's my one of the other three favorite scenes for me was the autograph session.
Yeah.
Right after he figures out he's got a heart attack, he's like, I just want to be here. And he goes to the little auditorium with Judah Freelander. And he's like, it's like a little convention in this just blank, empty cafeteria. And he just looks around and he's like taking money from people to sign autographs. This little kid comes over, like nobody's there. And he just looks around at all these like broken, old, injured,
They got VHS tapes.
like, yeah. And they're just like pushing like memories of their past, and he's at this like pivot point in his life where
What am I
is
doing?
he one of them or not? Like, does he accept
can
it?
he move on
Yeah.
with the times?
And there's basically like no dialogue during any of that.
No.
It's just the scene, and that to me is Aronofsky with the writer pairing perfectly. Like they did a great job.
Aronofsky's got an eye. I'll give him that.
Yeah,
I'm not heartless.
yeah.
I can give props.
I can't find anything.
That's okay. Because I can't think of one other Aronofsky movie that I actually like.
I don't think I've ever seen. What are his movies?
There's The Fountain. There's Requiem for a Dream. Pi.
Black Swan, right? He did
Black Swan. Black Swan was okay.
Black Swan was good.
I've seen 2 movies.
He's had some others
like
too.
Total or...
I saw a little bit of that Noah's Ark movie.
Oh, we don't talk about that one.
It was better than Mother.
Okay, well, then, high praise.
I mean, Noah fought monsters.
Did he fight any polar bears in the Fortress of Solitude?
Nope. He kept him in a cage on a big ark. Just 2 of them.
I think this is time. Let's go ahead and rate the movie.
Okay.
It is time.
Since mine's going to be... Since you probably already know mine, probably. I'll go first. It was very easy for me to rate this movie. I don't know if it's perfect, but it's very high on my list of favorites. It's got a lot of heart in it. It's got a lot of good decisions as far as filmmaking goes. I would give it an 8 out of 10.
8. Okay.
I think that's a fair rating.
Okay. Ben, do you want to go next? Or do you want to?
Sure, an 8. That sounds good.
Oh, man. We got agreement.
7 or 8, I don't know.
Yeah. It's sometimes it's hard to pin it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Really passionate number.
Intended, right?
Did I plan that?
No.
The world may never
and
know.
1, 2, 3.
Ha! Ha-ha!
Cut
More
it. We don't
claps.
care, Matt. Thanks.
I am actually going to give this a 9 out of 10.
Whoa!
I was actually going to ask you guys if this should be in the Hall of Fame.
No.
Because I would put it in the
I
Hall
don't
of Fame.
think I'd put it in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely not.
This movie's not for everybody.
You're ridiculous.
No?
You're going to reject Harry and the Hendersons and put this in the Hall of Fame? I'm not even trying to joke. Okay. It's ridiculous.
All right.
It's ridiculous.
I love this movie.
Bad form.
If I made a top 20, this would be in it, but it's not Hall of Fame.
It's not in my top 20. There's so many other better movies.
Oh, quiet down.
It's a good
you.
movie, but
It's one of my
The
favorites.
question I would ask myself is around this, and this isn't the end all, but this to me factors into the equation is, could another movie about pro wrestling, could there be another movie about pro wrestling that
I don't know if there's another
exceeds
angle
this?
that could
yeah,
do
if
it.
it's a biopic,
Maybe.
probably.
Like a true biopic.
like a true like
This
Jake
felt like a
I know, but if it,
Right.
was, but if it was a Jake the Snake movie,
if it was a,
So because
if it was a Sting
because it's
movie,
real, it makes it better.
because of because of the things that happened to him, are even more outlandish and real. You know,
Mankind
Kinda tragic.
Begins, starring
Mankind.
Michael Caine.
when I was little, I liked to fight.
I would give
And I was Australian. Too.
I give this a 9. It is I think I could watch this 10 times and enjoy it and find different things I appreciate about it each
Yeah.
time. It's one of those for me. So, and I think it holds up from
Almost any angle.
a time standpoint too. Like it's not one that'll get dated really quick.
Yes, because in the grocery store you can see different grocery items that look old.
Yeah.
They're
He
old packaging.
of Duty 4.
He did. Come on, and you
Get
know
outta here.
that Pepsi can looks like a
1993.
Yeah. I mean, those are the best designs. but
Frog graffiti out there when the broken down church.
That very much dates it at 2015.
it does, and that's when Pepe was good. He was indifferent, but now he's a symbol of hate.
Oh, Pepe
All right.
was just enjoying peeing with his pants down those days.
Feels good, man.
Shoot.
All right. So, what were we going? 7, 8, 9?
7, 8, 9.
8, 7.
Let's
I'll
go
go
with that.
7.
We got the spread.
7, 8, 9. Well, that's why 6 is afraid of 7.
Dude, you did it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, zing! I
Oh,
caught it.
wait. Can you say that again?
7, 8, 9. Well, that's why 6 is afraid of 7.
Perfect. Cut that for a clip show.
If you like that one, I got another one. Why did the
please.
chicken cross the road?
Why?
I don't know. Just because.
And if
Not
you
all,
like
really.
that humor, contribute to our page.
Whoa, look at that segue.
Boom.
What a quack!
Next week we're doing we're going on the road, right? I think I just
Moving
got
right along.
confirmation.
We're on the road, yeah.
Yeah, for this like really small indie release coming out this weekend that we'll just do next week.
Yeah, it's very close knit.
Yeah.
It's about the environment.
It is about the environment as always.
We're going to the art house cinema.
We are. But no, we have an awesome show next week, and it's going to be a special location. So tune in for that, and until next week.
Do we get to say what movie it is, or are we keeping that a secret?
Well,
No, we're in the end game here, so let's wrap it up.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing to know. Okay.
to infinity and beyond!
Ha. Well, that's enough of that.